I got another package. Inside is a Zimaboard 2 from Icewhale. Let's look inside together. Icewhale actually sent me this device to test on the channel. However, they didn't pay me any money or saw the video before release, so all of the opinions in this video are my own. I have to be honest, they already nailed the unboxing experience. Next to the Zimaboard, they also sent me the 2-bay HDD rack, which you can use to build your own mini NAS. Okay, let's look at what's inside the box. Here we have two parts, the Zimaboard itself and an accessory box. Here you can see some of the specs and ports on the Zimaboard 2. I am using the 16GB version. In the accessories box there's a fan, a mini screwdriver, power brick and SATA cable. We will need the power brick, let's use the German plug and the SATA cable. The rest we won't need for now. Let's really quickly take a look at the HDD rack. The whole feel of the Zimaboard in the HDD rack is very premium, as I think it's made of aluminum. Inside here we have the rack, a PCIe extension cord, some screws and a PCIe bracket. We will be using the Zimaboard as a Home Assistant server, so in this video we won't be building a fully fledged NAS with it. Okay, let's connect the Zimaboard to our network. It is actually super easy. You just need to plug in the power and connect an Ethernet cable. Please note that you will need an Ethernet connection as the Zimaboard doesn't feature Wi-Fi. Here you can see my bare bones setup. Let's move to my computer and set everything up. You just have to find the IP address of the Zimaboard, for example in our router UI, and open it up in a web browser. We are greeted with the welcome screen. The only thing we need to do is accept the privacy policy and create an account. Afterwards we are finished. What we see here is Zima OS, Icewhale's own operating system, and I must say it looks quite nice. The first thing I would always do when setting up a new device is updating to the latest release, so let's do that real quick. Afterwards we can just log back in with our account. So let's get into the real deal. How can we use the Zimaboard as a Home Assistant server? There's actually a super easy way. Zima OS has an app store just like on your phone, and in here there's tons of apps we can install on our board. One of them is Home Assistant, so let's do that real quick. Once it has finished installing, we have a new icon here for Home Assistant, and when we click it, it takes us directly to our new Home Assistant instance. Couldn't be any easier, could it? Let's create an account real quick and see what's up. I think this is one of the easiest ways of getting Home Assistant set up in your network. However, there's a little bit of a caveat. When we go into our new Home Assistant instance and we check the About section, at the top we can see that we installed Home Assistant Container. But what does it actually mean? There are different types of Home Assistant installation methods. The most common ones are Home Assistant OS and Home Assistant Container. So what's the difference? On the Zimaboard right now, Zima OS is running as the operating system and Home Assistant runs as a containerized service on top of it. With Home Assistant OS, Home Assistant is the operating system itself. The difference in practice is that with Home Assistant Container you are losing the App Store and therefore the ability to easily add apps to Home Assistant itself. It is not a massive deal, as basically you have this functionality in Zima OS as well, and you can install a lot of the same services, but it is still worth thinking about. Here you can see how massive the App Store is, and maybe you will see some familiar names. Another argument is that Home Assistant OS is the most widespread installation method these days, and a lot of tutorials online are using it. If you are fine with Home Assistant Container, your journey ends here, and you have one of the easiest and cleanest installation of Home Assistant through your Zimaboard. But if you want to install Home Assistant OS, I will show you how. There's basically two methods of doing it. The first method is installing it directly on the Zimaboard. On the Home Assistant website is a tutorial on how to do it. I would actually not recommend this one. The Zimaboard 2 is a very capable machine and for a simple Home Assistant server a bit of an overkill. So what I would actually recommend is to install Proxmox on it. Proxmox is a hypervisor that will make it easy and convenient to install many different services on it. It is also what runs my personal home lab. I will show you how it goes. For that we download the latest Proxmox virtual environment ISO from their website. For the next step we need a USB drive with at least 8 GB. We can use a program called Balena Etcher and use the ISO we just downloaded to prepare an installation USB stick. Let's wait real quick until it is finished. Now we have everything we need to install Proxmox on a Zimaboard, or so I thought. Actually, this took me quite a while to figure out, but you cannot install Proxmox onto the internal eMMC storage of the Zimaboard too. So we also need an external hard drive. I had a 240GB Samsung SSD lying around, which will be plenty for our use case. So I attached it with the SATA cable from the box. This is actually quite nice, as you can leave the eMMC storage untouched and try out Proxmox without destroying Zima OS on the internal storage. To go through the installation process, we also need to plug in a keyboard to the Zimaboard. Now let's install Proxmox. Let's reboot our Zimaboard from the web UI. This is the last time we will see Zima OS. While the Zimaboard is rebooting, we continuously press Escape to go into the BIOS. Inside the BIOS, we have to check two things. First, under security, we need to check if secure boot is disabled. For me it was. And then under boot priorities, we need to set our USB drive to the first option. Now we can save and exit, and the Zimaboard will boot into the Proxmox installation. I had an issue here where the graphical interface would not show my attached SSD, so I recommend using the terminal UI. It is also easier to navigate with just a keyboard. So let's go through the different steps. We need to accept the user agreement, then we have to pick our target drive. Make sure you are picking your SSD here, don't pick the internal storage, it will fail and wipe your Zima OS installation. Afterwards, we set a root password and an administrator email. Lastly, we can change some of the network options. I only changed the hostname here to zimaboard.local, so I could easily identify it in my router. And now we can install. It shouldn't take too long, and afterwards the device will reboot. If your device reboots into Zima OS, you need to go back into the BIOS and change the boot priority like we did before. Because I wiped my internal storage, it booted directly into Proxmox. To access the Proxmox web UI, we can go back to our computer and open it via the IP address of our Zimaboard and the port 8006. So let's log in real quick. The username is root and the password is what we set during the installation process. If this is your first time using Proxmox, I will introduce you to another cool website, Community Scripts. This makes Proxmox super easy to use, as they have installation scripts for a lot of different services. The first thing I always do on a new Proxmox installation is run the PVE post install script. Let's copy it here and paste it into the shell on our Proxmox node. Let's say OK here, and then it is important to disable the PVE Enterprise and Ceph Enterprise repositories. Instead, we will enable the PVE no subscription repository. At the end of the script, Proxmox will update and reboot. So let's install Home Assistant OS in a VM. It is actually super easy as well. Back at Community Scripts, we grab the Home Assistant OS script and paste it into the Proxmox shell. We want to create a new Home Assistant OS VM. For this demonstration, I will just use the default settings. And it is already done. If we click our new VM on the side here and go to the console, we can see Home Assistant starting. Once it's started, we can see the IP address here, and we can just open the IP address in another browser. In our browser, we can open a new tab, type in the IP address, and add the port 8123 at the end. And voila, here's our new Home Assistant instance. Let's create the account real quick. Now that we are logged in, we can go to the About page, and we can see that we are running Home Assistant OS, which means we have access to apps directly in Home Assistant. I personally think this is the way to set up your Zimaboard too, because if you are still here, then congratulations on unlocking a new rabbit hole to dive into: HomeLab and self-hosted services. There are over 550 scripts on Community Scripts that you can try out for different services. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks again to Icewell for sending me that product. I am sure it will gain a permanent spot in my HomeLab as well. Please let me know in the comments what you think of the Zimaboard too, and if it's an option for you as well. I hope this video gave you some inspiration for your own smart home setup. If you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate it if you liked the video and subscribe to my channel. If you need help with your setup, feel free to join our Discord server. Check out my other videos in which I create custom cards, show off cool Hux cards, and a tour of my personal dashboard. Right now we are also doing regular live streams to design a new dashboard for 2026. It is a very fun way to engage with the community, and I'm always happy to see you there. Until then, thanks for watching.